Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawud Dav from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right, I want to jump into this lesson dealing with this, not quite sure what to call it, but it's called Oumuamua. All right. So this is something that they, not to say discovered, but this basically came on the map last year, all right, 2017, all right? Just touching on this a little bit out of this here article. This is this big, I don't know what they want to call it. They're not calling it a comet or a meteorite because it doesn't have a certain characteristics of certain things, all right? But there's a couple things in here I want to pull out. All right, it says, let me get to where I want to get. So this thing here is Oumuamua. And as they speak about it, it says, you think it might be a comet or a meteor, for those of you who don't, see this spiritually, it's not for you. But some of the things I want to pull out in here, it says Oumuamua is tumbling rather than smoothly rotating and is moving. Now, hold on, let me go back. It is a significant elongated and rotation rate. So it is thought to be metal rich with relatively high density. All right. So speaking of metal rich, there are metals and elements that's in outer space and things like that. But as well, and we don't know what these, chariots are made out of and things like that. But, they're examining these things, or so they say at least. They can come up with whatever they want to say. But really, they ain't out there trying to test this out to see what's really out there. So they just, going off of speculation, or who knows what kind of technology they have to be able to see these things. But nevertheless, it says Oumuamua is tumbling rather than a smoothly rotating and is moving fast. Hold on, let me go back to the rotating. All right. So I'm gonna show you a imagery of that. All right. It's kind of strange, but nevertheless, all these signs of this thing that they describe, and it's not like no normal shit, But it says let me go up real quick. It says Oumuamua showed no signs of a comet tail despite its close approach to the sun, but it has since undergone gravitational acceleration, potentially consistent with the push from solar radiation pressure. That's how they want to explain it. But these are the characteristics. This thing is sped up. It was already moving. Well, I mean, this all relatively comparably to the speed in space, but this thing was already moving kind of fast. You know what I'm saying? And it just started speeding up. All right. But let me jump back down. It says Oumuamua is tumbling rather than smoothly rotating and is moving so fast relative to the sun that there's no chance that it's originated in the solar system. Meaning that, this thing is moving way faster than anything else that's in our, around us. It's like you drop, like, let's say a rock into, a stream of water or something like that. Let's say a lake. The rings is going to be moving out from the center point of that rock, all right, all at the same speed. Because why? It all impacted and all the effects is taking place at the same time. However, if you have, two different rocks you throw in at the same time, or not at the same time, but one after another, those rings are going to spread, not to say at different rates, but, it'll reach a certain point at a different time because one started before the other one. All right. But nevertheless, like I said, in comparing that to the things that around us, they all pretty much moving at a certain, an average speed. And this thing is way faster than that. All right. It says, it also means Oumuamua cannot be captured into the solar orbit. All right. Now, again, this is their way of saying certain things like that. So they ain't got to, come to the conclusion or, openly put it out there like that. But they openly putting it out there like that this ain't no regular ass shit. It's moving so fast. And also the size of it, not really the size of it, because, you got way other bigger shit that gets sucked into gravitational pulls or however they want to explain it, But this thing was moving so fast it didn't get caught into the gravitational pull of the sun. And the sun is way bigger than this thing. So the sun should have just sucked the thing in, but it didn't. All right. It says, I pulled out in a previous video of, chariots flying through the sun, and these chariots is nowhere near in comparison to the size of the sun. And yet they fly right through it and don't be affected by the sun. If anything, they leave effects on the sun. showing the power and the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. All right. It says it also means Oumuamua cannot be captured into the solar orbit, so it will eventually leave the solar system and resume traveling through interstellar space. Oumuamua's system of origin and the amount of time it has spent traveling amongst the stars is unknown. Because they don't really know shit about shit. But let me get on these images in a second. The name comes from the Hawaiian Oumuamua, meaning scout. All right. So like when you're on a mission, you scouting out, all right, let me give it to you in the scripture. Before the Most High told the children of Israel to go scout out the land of milk and honey, which he gave them. But they was all scared, but what, Joshua and Caleb. But they was going to scout it out or go on a reconnaissance mission to see what they would need to be prepared for the fight, So just like in the times being, we know that Yahweh Shah is coming back, and the scriptures say, you're going to see the signs of the coming of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? And the signs of Yahweh Shah, the Son of Man, you know what I'm saying? These are the signs. But what? A scout is coming to scout out the land, scout out the battlefield, But now they're going to go into this word scout, but, or they might. Let me see. It says the name comes from the Hawaiian Oumuamua, meaning scout, from U, meaning reach out for, and Ma, reduplicated for emphasis, meaning first in advance of, and reflects the way this object is like a scout or messenger sent from the distant past to reach out to humanity. Okay, it roughly translates to first distant messenger. Now, if that ain't a spiritual eye opener, I don't know what is. All right, what are you expecting? What are you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, or Yahweh to send his son with his angels in the power and the great glory, man. And this is what do they name this? All through the spirit, scout, or the first messenger, a distant messenger. All right. Let me read that again. It says the name from Hawaiian Oumuamua, meaning scout. All right. Or from U, meaning reach out for. All right. Yahweh Shah is reaching out, for the elect, first and foremost, and also to bring that judgment. All right. Mu, reduplicated for emphasis, meaning first in advance of, and reflects the way the object is like a scout or messenger sent from the distant past to reach out to humanity. And how he gonna reach out to humanity? First and foremost with his prophets, but he gonna reach out to the wicked, and the 2/3 of our people with that judgment, cast a judgment upon them. And to the elect, he gonna say, come up hither, It roughly translates to first distant messenger. All right. And that's how Esau like to say we made first contact with a unknown species. And they little do they know that's what's going on right now. It says the first let me see. Now it says before the official name was decided upon, the name Rama was suggested, the name given to an alien spacecraft discovered under similar circumstances in the 1973 science fiction novel Rendezvous with Rama. All right, so hey, they trying to be funny. Now I want to show you a couple pictures of this thing. All right, so first and foremost, all right, this is this trajectory rate. All right, they talk about how this ain't just going in a straight line like normal things float. You know what I'm saying? In a straight ass line with a trajectory rate. You know what I'm saying? The only time they really turn is when they get pulled into some kind of orbit and they slingshot off of something. But this thing is in a spiral path, and a huge spiral path. So if you see in the far distance where that little, all the way in the far back is coming in a spiral loop, it's just spiraling all the way around like a slinky. If you was able to ride on the springs of a slinky all the way around, that's basically the trajectory rate is taking, way different from anything else they got in space. Nothing else in space moved like this. All right. Not that they didn't observe. Now, this second imagery here, you see how we on this elliptical, let me see, I think they have, they worded better in here. And they say this thing comes from like out by like Vega in the Lyra constellation, which is not far out, but far out. Let me see if they worded in here. They talk about this elliptical, you know how, all right, so you got Saturn and the rings on Saturn, how the Saturn rings is like that elliptical shape, you know what I'm saying, that ring around it. So as you see all our planets, they all basically are aligned in a straight line, you know what I'm saying. One of the planets I think is on its side, but they all in a straight flat line in an elliptical, they got a word for it, but it's like an elliptical plane, like you looking at Saturn's rings, that shit is flat, you know what I'm saying. It's not like up, down, whatever, whatnot. But our solar system is like that, all right? And everything is moving in the same trajectory rate, orbiting around, like how they say, orbiting around the sun, you know what I'm saying, in that same flat land, all right? Nothing else move no other direction. But in this scenario, you have this Oumuamua, which is floating in a spiral-like way, like nothing else in space does, first and foremost. But not only that, it's not even flowing on that same elliptical horizon, or however you want to word it. You know what I'm saying? This is coming from the, like, up, coming down. We don't have a concept of shit dropping down on us from space. You know, like a bird will drop down on like a worm or a mouse. We don't have that concept. We only have a concept of forward and backwards and things like that. All right, dealing with things in space. We never had, like, let's say meteors rain down on us. If anything, they would, you know, strike straight towards us or graze us like that. But this thing is coming down, descending upon the earth type of thing, and going back up. All right. So let me see if there was anything else I wanted to bring out with that. Yeah, we're gonna just oh yeah, there it is. The plane of the elliptics. I guess that's what it's called. And there's another place. I don't think it was in this here article, but how they said it came and basically not say flew around the earth. Well, it did fly around the earth, but nevertheless, you know, it was in the sense of how it was like examining the earth or watching the earth. All right, but I'm gonna get into a passage in the scripture that basically talk about this. All right, now hang on, because I got to get this imagery. All right. Oh, this ain't even a good picture. Salakia. Go up to the top. Well, we are at the site. Any more pictures? All right. Well, they have a different image, not this image. But if you was to look up another image of this thing, let me see. Oh. There it is. All right, so if you see an image of this here thing, they don't have a real image of this here thing, all right, because it's so far out they can't see it. However, all right, so if you brothers already know about this or anything like that, if you see this thing, all right, this is like the image that you'll see. All right, well, any of these images, this is basically the image that you see. All right. Now, this is the image of Oumuamua that they have. This will basically be the image that you see if you happen to see anything on this thing, all right, Oumuamua. All right, but this is not a real image, all right? This image that you see, none of these images are real because they don't have any images of this. Oh, there's an even better picture of how I was saying it's dropping down on you. All right, so we basically in this here flat plane. Now, let me go back. All of these are good images. Oh, that was another good one. Anyway, you get the picture. Have internet difficulties. Been having internet difficulties. All right, this is a good image right here. Come on, man. See? All right. Nevertheless, you get the image. You get the picture. This thing is dropping down. All right. My phone want to be acting up. I've been going through all kind of fuckery with this shit. All right. All right. Well, we can't enlarge it, but nevertheless, you see how it's swooping down and it's coming onto our level, just like if anything else, like I said, a bird of prey swoops down on its prey. All right. But nevertheless, you know, all these different things are just signs. All right. Signs showing us what time we in. All right. And the power and the might of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. But not only that, like I was saying, that image that you see, all right, it's not a real image. Nobody has ever actually seen this thing, so they don't have a real image. These are artist renditions, all right, recreations. But they describe it as basically like a big ass flying mountain, all right. And where did we hear that from? All right, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13. I'm starting verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, a man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. All right, talking about the rest of the chariots. All right, when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. All right, now what we read in here is basically the scene from Independence Day when them chariots first started coming up. If you want a visualization of this, all right, just go to the first Independence Day movie when they first seen the first chariots. This is what that's this whole script right here. All right, it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burned that heard the voice, like the earth filleth when it fills the fire. Now this is the scene right here from the day the earth stood still. All right, when those damn chariots came up out of the ground with that trumpet, you know what I'm saying, and zapping them damn people with them laser beams. Verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was together a multitude of men out of the number of the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right, now when you go into the Star Wars program, Ronald Reagan, all right, with the space program with Donald Trump going on, all right, that's what you see here. These nations come banding together to fight the Lord. Verse 6. And I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Ironically, you know, the Most High chose to use the word mountain. He used cloud, scroll, whirlwind, chariots, all these different things, horses. But now he's using the word mountain. All right. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. All right. This is going to be like that so-called fathership. All right. And it says, but I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven out, but I could not. All right. And so there's a huge, great, big old mountain that covered up the whole sky. And what do you see with this Oumuamua? Once that thing get close enough, man, this shit's going to be huge, humongous. All right. It's a great graven mountain that, you know what I'm saying, you ain't going to be able to see from end to end. All right. That's describing the same thing that these people are seeing as this scout, this first distant messenger reaching out. All right. Verse 7 again, and I would have seen the region or place wherein the hill was graven, and I could not. Verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So they gonna fight the Lord when he come back. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. And they fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right, so now the fire, the tempest, and the sparks, that's talking about concentrated heat, aka a laser beam. All right. But then he says, in an instant, innumerable multitude, there was nothing to be perceived but dust and the smell of smoke, like in that movie, The World of Worlds. All right. It was just dust and the smell of smoke when it was getting blasted. Verse 12. Well, basically that was the point we was going to get. But this is basically the breakdown of Yahushua and his return. All right. I mean, you can read further on down. To verse 28. All right. Jump down from verse 28. Let me just read verse 32. 2nd Ezra 13 and 32. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I show before thee. All right. Go to Matthew 24. You see all those signs. All right. And at the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I show thee before. Then shall my son be declared, which thou saw as a man ascending. All right, and that was that man that came on that graven mountain. All right, Yahushua. All right, and so as you see this Oumuamua, Lord willing, hey, that's our chariot ride, man. Lord willing, we almost up out of here, man. It's even more evident, man. It's so evident that the chariots is rolling up, man. All we got to do from this point on out is just get on them bad boys, get caught up and get on. They already loading up, You see in the bus stop, opening the doors and the stop sign come out, they about to just wave you on over, all right? So with that, Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for Yaki and pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Stay strong. Shalom.